So I want to talk about the process of imaging the Western Veil Nebula, NGC 6960. I'd done it a few days ago from when I'm recording this. This is probably a few weeks afterwards now, however. I've done it in quite quick succession. I'd done the North American Nebula, followed by the Western Veil, followed by the Eastern Veil, followed by the Western Veil again. This was because I got a new telescope. I wanted to try out how well it could do things. And then I got a guide scope after doing the Eastern Veil, so I wanted to retry the Western Veil just to see how much improvement I could get, and I've got to say I'm quite happy with how it came out. So I'm just going to be talking over the time-lapse of the process of editing the image all the way from stacking it to post-processing and then doing a comparison. This is completely unscripted. I'm talking over it as it happens, so I do apologise if there's some pauses and ums and ahs, but there you go. So if you've seen any of the other time lapses, this is Deep Sky Stacker, this is what this is, it should be very similar. I didn't actually run into any problems when it came to the calibration frames this time round. I had to go check through some of the light frames because some satellites had appeared, but other than that, that was completely fine, very fast. And on the first stretch, the nebula came out quite well, very visible. These were from 300-second sub-exposures, I believe around 2 hours total exposure time, and you can just see me there messing with some of the curves, making sure all the RGB channels line up, that kind of thing. And I discovered a new way to remove light pollution, because I've been watching a lot of videos where you kind of create a flat frame basically and create a gradient from it, and that's how I remove the light pollution from that. This is just removing the stars so I can edit the actual nebula a lot better, because you don't want to blur up the stars through exposure when editing the curves and levels adjustments. And I did run into some issues here. I was trying to, I believe, black out the background basically. That star in the center there didn't get fully removed and it had some weird artifacts left over, so I was trying to remove that. But then I was trying to remove the background, make it black, so I could just edit the nebula just as it is. And I ran into this problem, I believe, when I was doing the Eastern Veil Nebula as well. I couldn't remember basically how to select it and then darken the background. Eventually I do figure it out by creating an adjustment layer of curves, but then for some reason when trying to alter the curves layer, it wouldn't blacken out. So I ran into quite a few problems in this area, and as you can see there, I'm trying to select a lower portion of the nebula which became visible in this image, which was quite surprising, to be honest. I wasn't expecting to capture that. It didn't come out very well because I haven't got a field flattener, so the edges kind of warp and I think the nebula just kind of smudged. As you can see here, I'm now attempting to adjust the curves and it's not going very well. So I figured that out in a minute. I think I had to do a restart because Photoshop was just refusing to let me edit it for some reason. I tried it by using a normal adjustment layer, but that's not what you're supposed to do. Sorry, not a normal adjustment layer, a normal image curve adjustment. But I wanted to do it through the layers panel so I get more, I can reverse basically if I decide I don't like something. I believe this was the restart and I did eventually, yeah, there you go. I appear to have missed out removing the star this time around. Oh no, I did remember. That's good. Yeah, I didn't want to overexpose that either during this editing process, so I kind of just smudged it out. And then I tried to feather the edges so the nebula barrier between space and the nebula itself looks a bit more natural. I've done that with all the other nebula photos that I've done. And then just boosting the saturation up there, trying to get some colours to come out of it. I don't know how scientifically accurate it looks by doing that. I think it looks nice, but how representative of what it looks like, I'm entirely unsure. I probably need to look into that. I'm kind of mixed between having an artistic license with it and actually representing what's going on in space. Here I'm just creating some hue saturation layers to saturate the nebula a bit more, and you would use the desaturation layer to desaturate the background, but I absolutely blasted it with the darkening through the curves layer, so it's really unnecessary. I just kind of gotten used to doing it from following tutorials and whatnot. So it's just a natural step in how I usually do things. You can see at the bottom there, or could see at the bottom there, more to the right side of the image, the actual nebula isn't quite visible. It's very smudged, and I think that's due to the aberration of the refractor lens. But on the bottom left it's more visible, so again, I'm not too sure why that's happened. But with a field flattener, that should hopefully remove that issue. And I'd quite like to image Pickering's triangle, which is kind of to the bottom left of this image, that area. That would be quite nice. It looks like quite a fantastic region to image. And here I'm just playing with the saturation levels again. The nebula looked a bit too bloomy. And I think eventually I figured out it was due to the stars being a bit too overexposed. So there you go, I lowered the exposure and I think that looked a lot better. And I reframed it. I got rid of the nebula on the bottom in the end. I was like, I didn't quite like how that actually looked. So yeah, I just like got rid of it. And then playing with Camera Raw filter just to get the final kind of effect. And you'll see the final image here, and then afterwards there is a comparison from the 9th of June where I had two images which were they were taken from the same data, and I kind of re-edited one I think the day after to see if I could improve it. It had better colour balance, less definition on the nebula, but I think I preferred that one. But yeah, you'll see them now.